Civil War is a film that I thought had a compelling concept. It just wasn't executed fully, to be honest here. But that doesn't mean this isn't a bad movie. I think this one was quite entertaining for what it turned out to be. So, the story of this one is that a team of journalists travels from New York City to Washington, D.C. during the escalating Second American Civil War. Now, going into this one, I was a little bit hesitant because I only had seen two movies from director Alex Garland, which is 28 Days Later and Ex Machina. So when I had seen the trailer, I ain't fully understood we was going to get a film where we were following these team of journalists going to Washington, D.C. in order to get coverage on a big story, which I won't spoil because it is integral to the plot. It also made me sympathize more with war photographers because they are on the battlefield taking pictures of some horrific things going down, and so they unfortunately take that trauma home with them. And this film actually did a good job of showcasing that. This movie has some intense moments. It had me on the edge of my seat. Plus the sound design along with the music was great, which adds another layer to the cinematic experience. Overall, would I recommend this one? Yeah, you could check this movie out. It's just for me personally, this one isn't very memorable when it was all said and done. So, what I thought about the acting? I thought it's pretty good, especially by Kristen Dunst. She plays this veteran war photographer. She's been doing this all her life, and so when she has the opportunity to take under her wing a young, inspiring photographer named Jessie, then, well, she does a lot to keep her safe. And speaking of which, I thought that Cailee Spaeny did a good job as well. I haven't seen anything else from her filmography. This was actually the first movie I saw her in. I like how she's the eyes and ears of the audience. She don't understand how bad the Civil War is. And then there's Wagner Moura, who also did a good job. These three characters, they are interesting, and they definitely lead to some very tense moments. Especially, there's one moment in the film, I have to give credit to J.C. Plemons. He's only in that one scene, but man, is it very intense. You know, it's a glorified cameo. He really stood out here. And not only that though, but I did like the cinematography, I like the visual shots, and I don't think this film used any CGI. But man, all throughout this film, they going from these torn down war areas all the way until the final act in Washington, D.C., where all of the chaos is happening. And you know, the thing is that this film, it could have been a dumpster fire, but interesting enough, it managed to hold my attention. Now, will I go back and rewatch this? Probably not, because, well, this one right here, I don't love it. I think some of the plot has some lazy scenes. Some scenes are not fully fleshed out. And then there's the ending, which I absolutely hated. It just ended right there in the studio. It was like, all right, budget's out, let's just end it right here and call it a day. A movie's conclusion is supposed to wrap up the arc of a film, not leave you answering like, that's it. We don't get a final context. Well, at least that's how I felt. At the end of the day, this film does enough to keep from being a dumpster fire, but in my personal opinion, I kind of wish it was a little bit better as well when it comes to the story. I'm giving this film a 7 out of 10. One of my issues I had with this one is that California and Texas come together to form the Western Forces. That don't make any sense. I get this is a movie, but my goodness, at least describe how they came together. And another thing I want to point out, this one does not get political, which actually makes sense because it is an election year after all. Nonetheless, while I did enjoy some things about this movie, I have no desire to ever go back and rewatch it, only because it really didn't impress me all that much. Plus, there are a lot of movies out there I have seen throughout the years that I find much more entertaining than this one. And that's my review of Civil War. Okay, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this movie if you have seen it. All right, this is Slim Guy 172 saying peace out.